Very good afternoon. Good afternoon to all. This is Lenny Davidson here. It's audible?
Yeah, it's audible. Please
Okay,
carry
sir.
on.
Yeah. I'm quality and EHS manager for SKF in Bangalore. I think there are a lot of guests have joined. I think from IISc students. So I want to brief about our organization. We are one of the leading bearing manufacturers in the world. SKF bearing. Okay, so we are happy to have Dr. TVRAMACHANDRA for ozone. I mean, this World Ozone Day. Sir doesn't require any introduction in our organization because he already conducted one program and we all really gained a lot of knowledge about that. So I'm not going ahead with any formal introduction about Sir. So I'm once again very happy to have you here, sir, and very, very humble and honored for accepting our invitation immediately and delivering this particular speech, sir. Thank you, and over to Dr. TV Ramachandra.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lenny Davidson. So now it is 3:20. I have 30 minutes from 3:20. I'll be talking now. So today is the World Ozone Day. So throughout the globe, we remember ozone and also its importance and also how to protect ozone. That is the agenda of this day. So now, this year theme for a ozone day is a ozone for life. Without ozone, I think the biological organism and the food on the earth becomes the risky affair. Now let us try to understand our atmosphere and also the sun and the earth. See, you all know the earth revolves around the sun. There is a solar energy from the sun is emitted and passes through the atmosphere and reaches the earth. And solar energy consists of the various, the wavelength and the energy. You see that increasing energy with the increasing wavelength. Okay, I will elaborate more in the next slide. So now let us try to understand. Sun emits electromagnetic radiation at different wavelength, meaning energy at different intensities. At lower, shorter the wavelength, you have higher energy. Okay, the atmosphere acts like a multi-layer sheet that protects Earth from a dangerous solar radiation. Visible band and the other these ones are okay, but when it comes to the gamma ray or the X-ray or the UV radiation, it is harmful to the humans and the other biological organisms. So the ozone is found in two different parts of our atmosphere. At ground level, we have the bad ozone, which is because of fuel burning, improper fuel burning. It affects the humans. It's in the form of the smoke. While in this the troposphere, it has the ozone layer which protects the earth from the UV radiation. That is, high level or a good ozone occurs in the stratosphere and accounts for the vast majority of atmospheric ozone. Okay, now as far as this is concerned, we need to understand at ground level we have ozone which are emitted because of the combustion from the automobile, etc. That is a bad ozone because that will lead to the health hazards like the cancer, etc., or the respiratory diseases. While the ozone that occurs in the stratosphere, which is about 30 to 40 kilometers from the earth, is the good ozone that protects us from the UV radiation, and that is the harmful radiation. Okay, now you all know that you have the gamma, X-ray, UV, then visible band, infrared, etc. Visible and infrared band are the thing we use in remote sensing, while these are the one we need to control it, so that it doesn't harm our skin or we do not have skin cancer. Okay, now let us try to understand the UV radiation and humans. Most ozone resides in the stratosphere, as I said, at 10 to 40 kilometers. Okay, it acts as a shield to protect Earth's surface from the sun's the harmful UV radiation. The UV radiation causes the skin cancer and plays a major role in the melanoma development, the cancerous or the carcinogen development. Okay, one potential welfare effect is a reduction in plant productivity, including agriculture crops, due to increased UV radiation. That means at one end the people will have the cancer, other end we will not have enough food. The ozone layer acts as a filter for the short wavelength and highly hazardous UV are blocked from reaching the Earth. Now let us try to see how the ozone is formed in the stratosphere. It is through the photochemical reaction. You will see that, see, ozone exists in the upper atmosphere as a consequence of photochemical reaction between the molecular oxygen and sunlight. So that is where you have this one. See how the photochemical reaction leads to the finally the ozone formation. The ozone, it always is in a dynamic equilibrium. We should not disturb the equilibrium. If we disturb, then the thinning of the ozone happens, then the UV radiation gets into the earth. Okay. In theory, a balance of ozone is established over time. It prevents much of the harmful UV radiation from reaching the earth's surface. So that means it leads to an equilibrium or a steady state as long as the natural phenomena are happening. The moment the anthropogenic thing starts building up, we have the thinning of the ozone. That means there is a degradation of the ozone, which will lead to the UV radiation reaching the earth. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, you have higher concentration of ozone in stratosphere, which prevents the solar energy, that UV radiation, the solar energy reaching the earth. Okay. So now, when the ozone depletion lead to excessive UV radiation, the more it leads to the more skin cancer and eye cataracts, less productivity of plant, loss of immunity to diseases, adverse effects of on the plastics. Okay. Now let us look at the scientific background. From 1839, people have started looking at the ozone. It was discovered in 1839. Then it has shown to be a natural the atmospheric constituents. Okay. Then the global ozone layer recovery has been linked mainly to decreasing chlorine and bromine. See, when we use more of chlorine and bromine, we see that the ozone, the degradation happens in the system. So now to understanding this, the problem of the ozone depletion, there are consultation happened at the global level. The one such thing is in the Montreal, about 35 years back, there were a thing, and they understood that, chlorofluorocarbon, which is used in the refrigerator, and halons, which are used in the fire extinguishers, are the major one which creates the depletion of the ozone. Okay. Now, the wavelength, and you see that UV, which has got A, B, C component. The C is the one which is very dangerous. So you have UVA, once thought to be relatively harmless, but causes wrinkles, premature aging. That's why when you go to the Ladakh or Leh, you see the people with wrinkled faces, the younger people also. That is because of the UV radiation reaching the earth there. Then you have UVB, which harmful, causes sunburn, skin cancer and other disorder, and UVC, which is most dangerous, which also has the damages the DNA, and of course it has the cancer and other problems also. Now, this is the most harmful, okay, that is UVC. That UV is divided into ABC. The C is the most dangerous one, and all this has to be filtered out. That is a job done by the ozone that lies in the stratosphere. Okay. Now we understood how the ozone occurrence happens in the stratosphere and how it is useful. Now let us see how the depletion happens. See, 1928 they invented CFC, and then use of CFC in the refrigerator started. Then we measured the CFCs in atmosphere. 1974, we looked at the relationship between the CFC and the ozone depletion. That is where we understood the causal factors. Okay, and also the Chapman equation, we know that how the ozone formation happens. Okay, a compound that increases the rate of a chemical reaction and is itself unchained by the reaction. Okay, that acts as a catalyst. Through chemical reaction, the chlorine removes the ozone from the stratosphere and also frees more chlorine atoms to begin the process all over again. So now the CFC compound which reacts with the ozone, and that is where the degradation of the ozone happens. That's where we need to bring down the use of refrigerator with CFCs. Of course, now there are alternative to the CFCs, and also the fire extinguishers where halons were used. Now there are alternative to the halon. That happened after the Montreal Protocol. Okay. Now we also understood the ozone hole. I will not get into the details of the ozone hole. That is nothing but thinning of the ozone layer in the stratosphere, which leads to the solar energy with the UV radiation reaching the earth. That when UV radiation reaches the earth, it affects us. That's why we need to be careful. Okay. Now Okay, in the 80s, we discovered that ozone layer was thinning in the lower stratosphere with particularly dramatic ozone loss known as a ozone hole. So that is where about 30 or 40 years back we started realizing there are problems, and also we understood. Initially people said that it is because of the natural phenomena, but natural phenomena will lead to the dynamic equilibrium. There is an equilibrium, whereas when humans start the releasing this the CFCs and halons, then we have more and more thinning of the ozone in the system. Now, these are some of the ozone, the depleting substances in the used by the humans. You see, the refrigeration and air conditioning leads to the is about 30%. The contribution in the thing. That means people who are sitting in Bangalore and Chennai using the air conditioned room and refrigerator are contributing to the ozone hole or a ozone thinning. Then you have other solvent cleaning product and aerosols, the foam product, etc. So now this research also gave a Nobel Prize in 1995. So these three scientists shared the Nobel Prize for their work on atmospheric chemistry, particularly concerning the formation and decomposition of the ozone. So then the ozone is also aggravated by the greenhouse effect or the global warming. You all know how the warming of the earth happens. When we pollute the environment with the carbon, methane, etc., it forms a thick layer in the atmosphere. That is where and also leads to the greenhouse effect, the phenomena. In the process, what happens? The warming of the earth happens. That is the solar energy which reaches the earth will not escape to the back. So that's where the warming of the earth happens. The implication of the global warming is that you have the changes in climate. Okay. Now, see, with the global warming, you have ozone depletion. That's where we need to be careful when we emit the pollutant. The heat trapping gases contribute to creating the cooling condition in the atmosphere that lead to the ozone depletion. The greenhouse gases absorb heat at relatively low altitude and warm the surface, but they have the opposite effect on the higher altitude because they prevent heat from rising. So now this is the principle that leads to the thinning of the ozone, okay, or the decay of the ozone. In a cooler stratosphere, ozone loss creates a cooling effect that results in further ozone depletion. That means the people using more of refrigerator and also burning more of fuel, give way to the global warming, and also with that we have the changes in climate, and of course so the health issues are there. Now the challenges are global warming could increase ozone depletion. Also HFCs used as alternatives for CFC in some application, okay, have global warming potential and are controlled by the Kyoto Protocol. So this also they found that though it was useful for the lowering the ozone degradation, HFCs, but there is a problem of global warming with that. That is where people started looking at the alternative to the HFC also. That is what was discussed in the Montreal. So the CFCs were commonly found in refrigerants, solvents, propellants, and foam the blowing agents. An international commitment to phase out ozone depleting chemicals that was universally ratified by all countries in the 80s. That is the popularly known as Montreal Protocol. And the treaty, if you look at what earlier the former director of the UN Environment Program said, is the Ozone Treaty is the first truly global treaty that offers protection to every single human being. See, if the ozone layer is not there, UV radiation would have reached the earth and all of us would have been affected with the cancer and other lower food productivity on the earth. Okay, that agreement came on the September 16th. That is why every year for the since last 35 years we are having the discussion on the ozone on the September 16th, so that more and more people know about the ozone depletion and implications of ozone depletion and how to minimize that depletion process. Okay. Now, if you look at earlier to that, we had Vienna Convention on 22nd March 1985. Then we had the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer was signed on 16 September 1987. The Montreal Protocol is the most successful multi-environmental agreement. The protocol has the universal ratification. That means all the countries agreed for that. Okay. Then we had in London Amendment 1990. You see that how the various substances were discovered to affect the ozone layer. That is where 92 the HCFCs were included. Then the Montreal Amendment in 1997, licensing system was put in place. That means if someone wants to use those substances which decay the ozone, they need to have the permission. Then we had a basing agreement where bromochloromethane was added as a controlled substance for immediate phase out. Then production control of HCFCs. Okay. Then when you look at our country, 19 June 91, we became a party to the thing. We signed that agreement. 17 September 92, India became a party to the Montreal Protocol and ratified the London Amendment. March 2003, India ratified the Copenhagen Amendment and Montreal Amendment and Beijing Amendment. Then November 1993, India's country program was prepared. January 2006, the India's country program was updated. Now, as the response to the Montreal Protocol, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change set up the ozone cell, okay, for undertaking activities related to the implementation of the Vienna Convention as well as Montreal Protocol. Then also constitute an empowered steering committee to look at the issues related to the ozone depletion. Then there were two standing committees to look at some of the issues that requires immediate attention in the field. The one is on technology and finance standing committee, and the other one is monitoring and evaluation committee. So now let us look at which are the substances that deplete the ozone. Those are ozone depleting substances. These are CFCs, halon, methyl chloroform, etc. So now you see that the sector-wise application of ozone depletions and their substitute. See, when we found the impact of the thing, we also started looking at the replacement. That is what we did it. Now there are replacement for most of these substances which were supposed to be ozone depleting substances. Okay. Now you can see that as per the Montreal Protocol and the country's agreement, this is how they agreed how to phase out the ozone depleting substances. I'll not get into the details of that. Okay. Now when you look at the achievements, global production of CFCs and halons fell by over 1 million ton, that is by 92% between 1986 and the 2002. Then global consumption fell at the same period by same margin. Then atmospheric concentration of chlorine peaked in 1994 is now declining. So that means there is understanding across the country. The understanding has happened because of the awareness. That is where this program of 16 September helps in bringing awareness among the bureaucracy and also the common man. Okay. Now there are, when you look at the regulation and control rule of 2000 of Government of India of the ozone depleting substances, it talks about how to control this, the ODSs, the ozone depleting substances, production and consumption control, ban on trade with non-parties, trade-off of the ODS is regulated, then ban on creation of new capacity or expansion of ODS, the mandatory registration for production. See, once the implications of using ODS was understood, the government immediately intervened and started had a legislation. Now the action is taken about against the defaulters. Okay. Now, for example, in Bangalore, if you look at, there are drug issues. I am hopeful that the government will come up with the stringent measures so that similar action is taken soon. Okay, so that our children are saved. Now, these are the rules. I will not get into detail. These are available online. Those who are interested can go through the website, which is available at the Ministry of Environment and Forest. So there are some of there's some strategies that were talked about for ozone depletion, and also the many awareness activities. As per the protocol of the ministry, every organization and institution is supposed to conduct a lectures and discussion meeting on the ozone, implication of the ozone depletion. So that is, and also the schools and colleges are also supposed to conduct a similar program throughout the country and across the various countries. Okay. Now, the India's the achievement as of January 1st, 2010, the production and consumption of CFCs, CTC and halons were phased out completely as per the Montreal Protocol. So now you see that there are this one, except the use of MDIs, metered dose inhalers, which are required in the medicinal field. That is still there is this one. People have to find the alternative to that. But otherwise, there have been the significant progress in phasing out the ODS. Okay, these are some of this one, how the halons were phased out. I'll not get into the details. Now, what are the lessons we got from the Montreal Protocol? We understood precautionary principle. We said that, okay, this is going to damage the system. Let us not use it. Then we thought about sustainable development, integration of science and policy, recognition of the special situation of the developing country. Like this, the Montreal Protocol gave way to the many the good thinking among the citizens. Okay, then what are the challenges still today? Global warming could escalate the ozone. We are still emitting more and more carbon emission. We are burning the fuel in our transportation sector as well as in the thing, and we continue to have the architecture which are going to harm the environment. Okay, so though we have discussed this in Kyoto Protocol, still the global warming we need to address. Okay, now the global warming potential of some of the ozone depleting substances are available. You can see that some of the substances also have a higher global warming potential. Okay, now let us see the implication of global warming and the changes in climate. See, we all face the reduced rainy days because of the frequent followed by droughts. And 2018 and 20, there were floods in Kerala and Kodagu. These are all the indication the warming of the earth is happening and there are changes in climate is happening. Now, let us understand this further, how each of the cities are contributing to the global warming. The greenhouse gas footprint is increasing in the cities. This is what our study we did some years back. You see the cities where the public transport is weak, the emission from the transportation sector is higher. For example, Bangalore has 43% from the transport sector, while the Hyderabad, which has still poor the public transport, has about 56%. And there is a relative share. You can see the energy is another the sector which emits the carbon and the greenhouse gases. Okay. Now, another thing, as a Bangaloreans and as people residing in southern India, we need to understand this kind of architecture is not suitable for our environment. No, we all follow the copy paste culture. Our architects and civil engineers have copied this architecture. They have brought it to the Bangalore environment and they have pasted in the Bangalore environment. We did a comparative study across the 2000 household to find out the electricity consumption. We saw that if the electricity consumption in the good architecture building is a range from 700 to 1700 units per person per year. In the glass facade building, it is about 14,000 to 15,000 units or kilowatt per person per year. That means almost 10 times higher electricity consumption. Higher electricity consumption means higher greenhouse gases, etc. Okay, this has been reported in the press and also it was discussed in the parliament, our study. So, and you can see that how Bangalore is contributing in the various sectors, solid waste mismanagement and also the lake. This one, and trees are coming down. Trees would have removed the carbon from the environment. We see the decline in tree cover, which was 68% in 73. Today it's about only 3.5% in Bangalore. There is an oxygen scarcity facing the people to use oxygen cylinder. If you see yesterday morning, the minister, the central government talks about oxygen auditing. The Harshvardhan talks about it. Lakes are polluted and abused, contaminants in the human food chain and enhanced footprint. This all as a Bangaloreans we are facing. So now you see how the urbanization has happened in Bangalore. 68% green cover in 73. You see that green cover in Bangalore today is only 2.96%. And the 7% at the building, today entire Bangalore landscape is choked with the building to an extent of 94%. Our prediction shows if this continues in 2025, the 98.5% of the Bangalore landscape will be covered with building. We will see only the buildings with senseless human being without trees are the sensible human beings in the Bangalore. This is how we did the quantification of the trees in Bangalore. We saw that for every 7% there is one tree. Scientifically, for every person, there should have been 7 or 8 trees. But what we have is the reverse pyramid. So now when you look at the Bangalore lakes are polluted and abused. So the lakes are used for dumping solid waste and to let the sewage into the thing. When we let the substances with the organic content, naturally they decay and they emit the methane and carbon dioxide. That's how we are contributing to the global warming. And these are the locations where we studied the people dump the solid waste in a big way. And these are the glories of Bangalore with the frothing happening in the lake and the fire in the lake. Only the Bangalorean can demonstrate this kind of irresponsible behavior because of the mismanagement of our natural resources. Okay. Now, instead of solving the problem of froth at the root, we have the ad hoc approach of putting the barricade. In the process, they spent 2 crores, but it didn't solve the problem. See, because of this kind of bureaucratic the thinking, we have more and more problem in the system. Okay, now you all understood unplanned urbanization led to loss of ecosystem, enhanced pollutant, and which leads to the global warming and changes in climate. In addition to that, with the ozone depletion, we will have the diseases like cancer and lower food productivity, etc. And temperature in the region is also increasing. The 92, if it is 19 degree, it has become 26 degree, and it's about 38 or 39 degrees in the May month today. Okay, and we also looked at from the center of the city, we moved in 8 direction. Wherever we see the lake or the greenery, we see temperature is 2 degree lower. That's why in IISc campus, you see the temperature is always 2 degree lower compared to the surrounding. Okay. Now I will share some of the success model because I have another 8 minutes to go. So how we have been doing, we bring in awareness among the school and college students. Today you will see that many of the children are listening to my talk. And also we organize a symposium popularly known as Lake Symposium once in 2 years. So we have conducted 11 events. 12th event is scheduled in December. If possible, as a professional, you can create new lake, and you can also take up native saplings, planting the native saplings in the reserve. Okay, this is a glimpse of my campus, IISc campus. Virtually you can see the campus through this URL. So now when you come to the campus, you will see a lake in the campus, you will see a greenery everywhere, and also you will see the Western Ghat climbers in the campus, which I have planted by me about 25 years back. Okay, if you want to learn more about us and what we are doing, this is the opportunity for you to take part in our the 12th event of the Lake Symposium, Lake 2020, that is scheduled during 28th to 30th December, and you are most welcome to take part in this event. And the children also will come to the event. They will do the simple experiment. Here the children are finding out how the carbon is stored by the plant. They measure the girth and height. By that they quantify the carbon for each tree. So then similarly they do the lake monitoring, the water quality monitoring, catchment mapping. These are all the children of 8th to 10th or 11th standard. And they collect the sample, they analyze, they use the microscope, and similarly physicochemical analysis, they do that. And for the people working in industry, etc., we conduct the course on environmental management. Today we have about 25 youngsters joined us as a part of this course. I am conducting this course. This is a 18th session I am conducting at IISc. That for the last 17 years we have trained about 40 to 50 people every year. This year we have taken 25 because of the COVID, and it's an online course. That's why we restricted the number this year. Okay, when you look at the country's landscape, we have abundant solar energy. That the study we did in way back in 2009, that has become a country program. Now you see where everywhere people are talking about solar energy, solar plants. In Pavagada, we have 2000 megawatt plant. Today, 2 of my youngsters are working on biofuel and bioethanol, and the country has 65% population youth. If we harvest all these three, my country or our country will be the sustainable country and a developed country. That is what we should make for. And also we should have a sensible human being in the society. This is the article which we wrote based on that study. And if you want to know more, these are the website. You can see this is my group web page, and where all the publications are available. And when you access my page, you see the research paper section. You can click on that. Lake Symposium and other details are available. And when you click on this research paper section, you will see all the publication available here, similarly towards the lake, etc. So we have been doing a reasonably good job. That is because of the young brigade that has been working with us for a long time. And every youngster who joins to the lab is contributing to the nation building and also sensitizing the people surrounding us. Okay. So now when they do a good job, they keep the smile on everybody's face. Thank you very much for listening to me. So I have taken about 28 minutes for my presentation. If there are any questions, you are most welcome to post the questions. Lenny Davidson and Raghavendra, have you come back to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a really wonderful session. We are waiting for questions from our colleagues, also from many of the students who joined.
Okay.
I think no questions.
There are no questions? Okay, thank you very much then. So anyway, my students will pose a question later. We are anyway continuing with them with the next session anyway here.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining this program with a quick notice. Again, we are happy to have you for this program. Thank you from SKF management team. I would like to thank you again.
Okay, I would look forward for the SK team to do some planting in Bangalore. Bangalore is losing the tree covers. I think young and energetic professionals working in Bangalore industry, I think you should also contribute towards the Bangalore environment. You are all going to office. I see you going in car, burning the fuel, contributing to the ozone depletion and global warming. At the same time, if you can mitigate it, that is a sensible way of leading a life. I would suggest you all to take off one day, go to the Bannerghatta National Park. Near Bannerghatta National Park, there is a RK mission. There are lot of lands are available. Whenever I talk about tree planting, Bangaloreans say there are no land, but there are plenty of lands are there. Please go and do the planting so that your children will have abundant oxygen and adequate water. That's what you should give it to your children, not the money. If you give good natural resources, children will be more sensible and healthy. And when they are sensible and healthy, they will take care of you when you require their support.
Thank you for your suggestion, sir. Already we have adopted one lake which is closer to Bannerghatta. SKF has adopted one lake and already we are into the tree plantation. So
yeah, which is
we
that
will
Bannerghatta?
Nearby Bannerghatta. Santosh, you are here. You can name the place.
Yes, sir. That is near Bannerghatta. There is a Mantapa Lake, sir. It's a village called Mantapa. So we have taken this complete reservation of the complete lake, and even last year we have planted more than 100 trees there surrounding that lake, and still that observations and continual improvement is going on, sir.
Yeah, I request you to share the details. You know, the students which are who are attending environmental management, no, they will come back to IISc in December. I would like to take them to that place so that they can also visit and have an idea how this some of the Bangaloreans are contributing to the improvement in Bangalore environment. Okay, please share those details.
Sure. Yeah,
we will do it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.